Yes, good morning, students, and welcome to the class of SAP. We have with us here Nagraj sir. Good morning, sir, and a warm welcome to you, sir.
Thank you very much, madam. A very good morning to you.
Yes, sir. You may please start the session, sir.
Sure. Thank you so much. Uh, so, dear students, a very warm welcome and a very good morning to you all. As usual, we'll allow some time for the other people to join in because today my plan is I'm not going to touch upon the asset accounting today because when we take it up, maybe say 2 or 3 days later, I will have to repeat everything. Right. So what I'll try to do is I will try to uh, take you through or if somebody asks me to just have a recap of everything except accounting, except asset accounting, I'm more than ready to do. Okay, we'll wait for a couple of more minutes so that the other students will join. And people who want to have a detailed recap, please mention that in your Q&A section. So another 2 or 3 more minutes and I'll join you people. I'll be on mute, but I'm very much in the system. Okay. So I think we have given enough time for the others to join. Let them join. So instead of having a recap, we have now got exposed to so many terminologies. You agree with me? So shall we see the practical side of all this? People excited, right? Now, how do you actually see all these things, whatever we have done? How are they actually seen in the SAP system? So now let's move on to seeing all the terms and the what should I say, the organizational objects as they are in the live SAP system. Okay, so for you people, please hold on to the access. Okay, do not worry, you'll be getting it very shortly. Right now, so we'll straight away jump into the SAP system. So what do we do? How do we log in? The login process in SAP. Are you able to see my desktop? Madam, can you please confirm if you are able to see the
Yes, sir.
desktop?
Yes, sir. Visible, sir.
A black screen.
Yes, sir.
Now, can you see that I moved an icon which is shown as a SAP logon? This is called as your GUI, or this is the platform by which your system, or rather your laptop or your desktop, talks to the SAP system. So you need to, and there is a process which you need to follow to download this GUI. Okay, probably you'll be having an exclusive document in your enable, right? So that you can view the document and download this. One more information. For people who have already got this particular entity, your graphic user interface or your GUI or whatever you want to call that as, your launch pad, your login pad, whatever. Okay. Logon pad, whatever. Right. So once you have installed this on your systems, you do not have to redo it again. Clear? Please understand this. Once you have done this, you do not have to download this again. I'm probably considering people who have already had an experience working on the SAP system. For people who are freshers to use the SAP system, they need to follow the process of downloading this particular GUI. So once this logon pad or your login pad or your GUI gets launched onto your laptop or your desktop, all you need to do is double click. Double click. See the icon where I'm moving the cursor, double click. So now it will ask me for my user or my SAP system. Meaning now currently, since this is my personal system, I only have 3 servers which I'm working. But in my official laptop, you will see the screen is full of the servers on which I am working. So basically this so happens because it depends on how many projects and within a single project, how many servers I'm working. So yesterday during the discussion of some concept called as landscape, I said we break open the SAP system into three servers. One is your sandbox or your development server. Second one is your quality server. Of course, you will not be having, probably you may not be having the access to the quality server. Okay. And the live project system, which is your production server. Clear? So I may be working on any number of projects on any number of servers. So that is the reason I may have a screen full of the SAP systems. Now, what information are you seeing here? My currently for this purpose, for this particular ICMA session, I have been given access to a system called as ER2. Why ER2? It is the administrator's choice. By whatever name he wants to identify the server, he can identify. Now, as I said, I can have n number of systems. You can see one system is called as ECC functional. Second system is called as ER2. The third system is called as S4HANA 2020. Fourth system could be something related to A Limited. So like this, I can have any number of SAP systems. But now, how do I bring in the relevant system? You will not be given access to any other project. You're a probably say you have joined as a junior consultant. So you'll be given only ER2. Let me assume. Okay, just an assumption. Now, how do you bring in the details? Now you have brought in the GUI. Okay, that is the first step or your initial step for you to bring in the SAP system. Now, if you want to bring in the relevant project SAP system, how can you see the details? ER2, system ID, group server. There is some identifier out here, right? So how do you get all this? In the initial stage, what you need to do is go to new item, go to connection. So you'll be getting something. Click on enter on your laptop or on your desktop. Now you will see this block. So as instructed by your specific mail, you need to bring in this details and keep pressing enter, which will take you to the last option will be finish. Once you keep going on, you will see the next and the finish buttons. So you fill in all the details, press enter, and you will be taken to the next button. Click on next, and the third time the next button will be deactivated and you must click on the finish button. You'll be instructed. Don't worry about it. You will definitely be instructed. Now, how do you see this? Suppose I want to see this system. Can you see the details? This is my server ID. This is how I identify my project systems. Okay, this is the instance number. So from where did I get all these details? I was being sent a mail from the relevant project authorities or from the database administrator. I got a mail and I simply followed those instructions. That's it. Okay. So now I bring in the relevant system. This is the system relevant for your ICMAI. Now, what do I do if I want to enter into this particular SAP system? These are your SAP credentials. First is your GUI. Second is your SAP system credentials. And now you will see the third one. So what you can do is you can highlight this and click on the log on pad right bottom where I'm moving the cursor. Or another route is simply double click. on the relevant system, can you see the color has changed? The active system has got activated and it has become gray. And the non-active system, they are still white in color. Can you see the difference in the color pattern? Now I double click. Now SAP will take me into the client information. So now do you understand the meaning of client? This is the relevant SAP system. Now, if you see this ER2 system, so I have been given access to the 900 client. Clear? So it is up to my role in the organization and up to the database administrator to give me or not to give me access to the 200 client, 300 client, 400 client. Now do you see the whole of the ER2 system is broken up into so many clients. So what is the version we are using? 6.0 ERP6. OK. Now I would give my client ID, give my user and the password. So once when I give the password, I have given my user ID, the client, user ID and my password. Now I can click on the bold right tick button, or this tick button is equivalent to your enter key on your keyboard. Enter. Now do you see? Just hold on. I will make a note of all these points. This is your GUI. Second step is your SAP system credentials. And your individual user information. So for you to enter or start working on your project systems or your relevant SAP project, you need to do all these functions. I hope you are getting the points. Once now, what is the user credentials? First, it is going to ask me for the client number. User ID, password. So these are the three informations what you give as far as the individual user is concerned. Okay. So in my project, my client, what access I have been given is for client 900. Clear? So once when I give this, so let me also make some points. Confidential, which means this information should not be shared. Your password is case sensitive, meaning you can have a mix match of capitals as well as numbers as well as whatever you want. But as I said, these information should not be shared. Your user ID and your password should never be shared as far as your live project SAP systems are considered. You will see the impact of this. Suppose you share, what happens? Okay, I will tell you how exactly things will happen. Okay. So till now, was it clear? So once I have given these three information, now the system opens out to me in the easy access mode. You can call it by whatever name you want. Easy access screen, easy access mode, whatever you want to call, you can please feel free to call it. Now, what is this? Your easy access is one place in your SAP where typically it is also referred to as the user screen. You can also call this as the end user screen. Simply why? Because this screen in SAP is used to enter the transactions. You cannot set up the system or create anything new in this probably. 99 times out of the 100 times, you may not be able to create anything new in this particular screen. And even in the live projects, the employees or the end users are given access to only the screen. They are not given access to the consultant's screen. Now, what is this new screen? So all you need to know is once you provide the information, the user information, it takes you to the SAP system, takes you to a mode called to a screen called as easy access screen. And basically, to simplify your life, you can also call this as an end user screen, because this is typically the only place where you can enter the data. Now, can you see the data? Can you see the screen? Now, how do you navigate? How do you move around with the screen? Navigation is one of the important concepts. How do you navigate or how do you move around within the SAP screen? Now we are in the action mode. We have gone to the SAP system. Now we have opened. Now, if you want to, let us see. I said this is your, what should I say? This is your end user screen. You can see so many options. You can see so many icons. One by one, I will take you. OK. So this screen, even before I start talking about the navigation, the screen is also called as a session. Each easy access screen or each configuration screen, I have still not shown you the configuration screen. Just hold on. Any screen you open in the SAP environment is called as a session. Right now, I am the end user. Now I want to enter a simple journal voucher. Right now, where is the option for me to enter a simple journal voucher? Accounting. Can you see the arrow pointing to the right? where I'm moving the cursor. Click on the arrow. See, now it points down. So that means to say I have options under the accounting screen. Accounting. I have many other options under the accounting option. Just hold on. I need to reconnect. So each tick mark, what you see, can you see the right bottom? This is equivalent to your enter key. Now, again, it has opened the system in the easy access mode. Now, I just assume that I am the employee of an organization and my job is to enter the journal vouchers. How do I enter the journal voucher? How does the consultant during the cutover activities, how the training takes place? How does the end user training takes place? So when we were discussing about the project steps, we also discussed this as one of the most important jobs of the consultant. Now, accounting. Click on the arrow. It opens other options for me under finance, under accounting. I go to financial accounting. I go to general ledger. I go to document entry. Now I think you are okay with what is a document. Document is nothing but a transaction. We explained when we spoke about the document types. Clear? Document entry. Now you see enter GL account document. The place where I'm moving the cursor. Clear? Can you see that this also is associated with a small code? This is your transaction code. Earlier, what we were talking about. Now, what is a transaction code? A transaction code is simply a shortcut for you to straight away enter the transaction. And I also made a statement that each and every screen in SAP is governed by a program and also has a transaction code. Clear? Was this understood? Now, if I want to enter the journal voucher, double click out here. Now, can you see enter GL account document company code GM01? Probably this is going to be your base company code in which probably you are allowed to carry out the transactions. Now, can you see what is this? Basically, this is the place for you to enter the journal voucher, stationery expense account to cash, 200 rupees. Right? Now, just to explain the screen. Can you see the transaction code up right top, right hand side top? Now I can change it to. Can you see the program also? So now you can see the whole details. See, I entered into the client 900. I am the user. Okay. This is a transaction. It also shows the relevant time. Clear? Now, can you see that this particular document is broken up into two areas? Can you see the space out here? Can you see the zero items? Above the zero items, there is certain data. Below zero items, there is a other data. So above the space, it is called as a document header. Just hold on. I can repeat this any number of times. I'm very sure that you people will be having quite a few issues while entering the system. Okay. Let me go back to my document. Where is document? There we are. Document. Okay. So we had document types. Now each document. Do I see the word document? Not a problem. Okay. Each document results in, see, every transaction gets saved in SAP and with the document type and a number. Now, every document is broken up into the document header information, and the line item information. If you want to just jot it down, most welcome to jot it down. Okay. So all you need to know is a transaction is broken up into the transactional header data and the transactional line item data. Right? Now you can see the various components. So what is this? Each of the information here, they are referred to as the fields. So the data is contained in a table, and each table comprises of some information called as, or information saved in the form of fields. I think we discussed this. I think now things are falling in place, or is it confused? I definitely made a note of it somewhere, right? What am I searching for? I'm searching for something called as fields. We spoke about tables. See, tables and fields. So when we were discussing about ECC and HANA, we said that in both the databases, your Oracle and your HANA database, even now the things or the data is stored in the form of the tables, master data tables and your transactional tables. And each table consists of rows and columns or whatever, which are called as fields. Clear? So what are fields? Fields are this: reference, document header data, document date. Clear? Now you see the company code. Now, suppose GM01 is not my company. I want to record a transaction in another company. Yeah. Let me assume GM02. How do I change? Can I change it here itself? I cannot. So there on top, you can see something called as a company code. Can you see switch company code? Right? Company code. And now it allows you to change the company code. You can mention the company code and go on, move on. Just hold on. I think I need to relog it. I'll go to the same option, accounting, in my easy access, financial accounting, general ledger, document entry, and my FB50. I am back to the same place. Correct. Now, if I want to change the company code, I go to this option, company code. Now it will ask me which company code do you want to carry out this transaction. Now, if you closely observe, next to this GM01, there is an icon, something like a binocular. Now, what is this? So any icon or any field which has this icon next to it means to say that there is predefined data. Now, which field are we talking about? The company code. So this has many other company codes other than GM01 also. That is the meaning. So if I click on this button, it opens out all the company codes which are available in my 900 client. Can you see this? So there are more than 500 input options. Can you see this? Down below, if you are able to just concentrate on this, more than 500 input options. That's what you read. Can you see this now? And as I said, can you see this 0001? Now I'm assuming that. So as I said, please be very, very careful to not to use 000. As I said, we have, as professionals, we never disturb the SAP standards. Yeah. Now, if I want to enter the data into, say, Mr. R Private Limited, some company, and press enter. Now, can you see it has changed? Yeah. By default, I was working on GM01, but I now switched on to 1023. I wanted to enter a transaction in. I'm assuming that both the company codes are mine, 1023 as well as Mrs. GM01. And please do not go about entering into anybody's company code. No, please don't do. Use GM01 only when you get hold of the systems. Please use GM01 only. And always ensure that you are entering data only in GM01. So I'll just make a note of it. For you people, or even for me as a matter of fact, in the current system, I'm assuming that you will also be given access to the 900 client. So in such a case, GM01 is a template company code on which you will be carrying out your transactions. Clear? Students, just try to, you have any questions at this moment? Finding it interesting? Do not worry, I'm not going to hurry up on this. I will take some time so that you people are comfortable in the navigational aspects in SAP, and as well as what you expect. How will you feel working on the SAP systems? Till now, was it interesting, students? Any questions?
Sir, you can see the published section, sir.
Oh, okay. You have already. Okay, I'll see that
Yes.
because I didn't see that red dot, so that's why I thought probably.
In the published.
T code is common. Are these a transaction code common code? Okay. Yes. The transaction codes, as far as the standard transaction codes, like you saw FB50, they are applicable to any and every SAP system. It is not only you will be using FB50, but somebody else working in some other country can also use FB50. I hope I have answered that question. Now, the standard transaction codes are common. They are applicable to any SAP system what anybody opens. Standard SAP. Clear? What is the difference between GM01 and FB50? GM01 is a legal entity. It is a company code for which you are carrying out the financial transactions. How are you carrying out the financial transactions? It is through the transaction code FB50. FB50 is a transaction code and GM01 is the company. So you are entering transactions in the company code GM01 by means of the transaction code FB50. Was I clear? Can the transaction code vary from company to company? It all depends. It may not vary or it may vary also. Suppose I'm working on GM01, okay, on the same client. Now suppose I'm working on some other company code in another system, and that company code wants to change that FB50. I don't want the FB50 to look like that. I want to bring in I want to delete some fields because they're not applicable to my transaction. So in that case, what I do is I customize my transaction code based on my business requirement. I customize the transaction code. In that case, it may not be the same. But if at all you want to work only on the standardized transactions, you're most welcome. Yeah, I hope I have answered that question. My company code is not 900. My client is 900. My company code is not 900. Rajwinder, my company code is not 900. Please understand, my company code is GM01. My client is 900. In my client 900, I can have any number of company codes. I hope I have answered this question, Rajwinder. So this 900 and GM01, they are two different concepts. 900 is the client and GM01 is the legal entity on which I am working. I hope I have answered the questions. Template means a sample company code. That's what I meant. There is no bigger meaning for the word template. All I wanted to say is this is going to be your company code on which you will be carrying out your practice sessions. Once you are given the system, SAP system, this is going to be your company code on which you will be carrying out your transactions. Am I clear? Yes, they can customize their own transaction code. Yes, they can. Very true. Yes, if you are operating on the wrong company code, instead of affecting the transaction in one company code, you will be affecting the financial transactions in another company. You're absolutely right. Okay. Can the business configure? As I said, the answer is yes. How does the business configure? It configures through the consultant. Consultant is the person. In this case, the technical consultant is the person who can actually change the transaction code. Students, have I answered your questions? Please reply whether the answer is understood, or if you still have doubts, please ask me. I don't mind spending lots of time on this, but actually you should know what exactly we are doing. That is very important. Shall I wait for 2 more minutes? Or shall I assume that I have answered all your queries? Guys, please do not feel that you are asking me the same question again and again. Please do not have that feeling. Ask me the same question any number of times. It's not an issue at all. Till you have your queries clarified, there is no point in moving forward. Students, how do you feel now? Just maybe around 45 minutes from 45 minutes, we have been seeing the SAP system. How do you feel? Interesting, tough, complex, conceptually, it's a little, it's not understandable. What do you feel, dear students? Very good. So have I answered all your queries? Once more, I'm asking you this question even before I move forward. Excellent, excellent. Absolutely. You will obviously get to know lots and lots more. And you will see, as I said earlier, at some places I have just paused. Why? Because I would have to wait for the correct time to explain the concepts. Now that we have the, or rather I have the SAP system, now I can share more and more information as in when we proceed. See, now I had, for example, we had stopped at some point in understanding document. Now, do you know, you saw the document physically on the SAP system, right? Now we'll further get insight when we carry out the transaction. Absolutely, yes. I have posted in different company to SAP. Uh, now suppose you have entered the transaction in a wrong company code. Instead of GM01, you have entered the transaction in, say, another company. Let us say, what example did we take? In 1023. Now, instead of affecting the books of accounts of GM01, your entry has gone and affected the accounting position of 1023. Is this what you wanted? Absolutely no. So in case you have entered the transaction in the company code 1023, and then later you realize you will have to reverse that entry in 1023 and go back to the correct company code and make that entry. Are you understanding? You need to come back to GM01 and enter the transaction. Now, what is the catch here? Now, suppose I'm entering the transaction stationery account debit to cash. This entry was pertaining to GM01. Or let us say rent account debit to bank. Now, 1023, see, this entry was pertaining to GM01. And you want to enter the, or rather accidentally, by mistake, you are carrying out this entry in 1023. What is the catch here? First and the foremost thing what you need to understand is 1023 must have the same GL account. And as a user, I should be having the authorization to enter into that company code. If I'm working on a project for GM01, now this is a test system. So you can see so many company codes. So in the live project system, you can see only your system. So in the live projects, you just cannot enter into another company code at all. Suppose I'm working on the Unilever project. Will I have the access to work on Reliance project also in the same server? I'm working on, did you understand my question? I'm working on the Hindustan Unilever project. Will I, so it is a Unilever SAP system which I'm using. Practically on the same Unilever system, will I have the access to get into Reliance company? Absolutely no. So in the practical SAP project scenario, there is no way that you can enter transactions in a wrong company code. As an experiment, these mistakes can happen only in your test scenario, like we are using a testing server. So you can see so many company codes. But believe me, in your live SAP systems, whenever you get into a project, you will not be given access to any other company code. You must operate only in the given company code. I hope I have answered this question in detail. What does a functional consultant do exactly? Okay, I'll come back to this question later. So I hope I have answered this question and I have made you understand the practical things in SAP. Madam, can we take a break now for 10 minutes?
Yes, sir. Sure, sir. No problem. So students, we'll be taking a short break of 10 minutes and we'll be back by 12:10. Hello, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
So we can resume the session.
Sure, sure.
Yes.
All right. Now, let's get back to the question. What is the role of a functional consultant? Functional or technical? He's supposed to have good knowledge of the business, meaning whenever the consultant sits down with the business owner trying to understand his SAP requirements, he has to know how his business is operating. What does it do? What is it doing? What are the reports? How is he carrying out the transactions? What are the business processes? Right? So he is a combination of SAP plus your business analyst. He's supposed to be a SAP, good knowledge of SAP, and he should be in a position to analyze the business requirements of the implementing company, of the implementing partner. And during the process of implementing SAP at the implementing partner's side, one more duty of the consultant is training of the end users. Preparation of various manuals, testing documents. Clear? So these are all the broad areas where the functional consultant should be working. I hope I have answered this question. What is the role of a functional consultant? I hope I have answered that question. All right. Now, there was also a question. Just a moment. I'll just take that question up. So two company codes will be the same? No. But what is the statement? Now, but there are two things. No company codes can be existing in the same. Now, for example, in my client 900, I cannot have two GM01. I can have only one GM01. In some other client, You can have GM01, but in the same client 900 which I am using, SAP will not be creating two company codes with the same code. You can have GM01, GM02, GM03 in the same 900, but you cannot have two GM01s in the same client. No two company codes can be the same in the same SAP system. I hope I have made that point clear now. So you should be very, very clear on these things. I hope I was clear. How to create ledgers? So Abhishek, please wait. We'll take up this question at a later time. How do you create ledgers? Okay. It can happen. It can accidentally happen, provided you have the access, as you rightly said. All right, but these things will not happen. Such minor things will not happen at all in the live SAP systems. Does SAP doesn't have any security or restrictions? That's what I said. See, the first point about the security is whenever you are working on one specific client, you will not be allowed to work on any other client. So that means you will not be having access to any other company code at all. If I am working on the Hindustan Unilever project, I'll be given access to the data which is relevant to my working. That is all. Clear? Have I answered that question? So there is no question of the security at all because you will not be given access to it at all. So there is no question of you getting into another system. So have I answered all the questions? So we just discussed what does a functional consultant do exactly. And one more important thing. The responsibility of a functional consultant is to design or to configure the SAP system after having understood the requirement of the business organization. After understanding the business requirements of the implementing partner, the functional consultant goes about creating the SAP system for that specific business. Clear? Just a minute. Yeah, I hope I have. Yeah, can a client have two company codes? Absolutely. Now you saw 900 client having so many company codes. Didn't you see that? It had GM01, it has 1023. So one client 900 can have any number of company codes. Yeah, it can have. One client can have more than one company code. It can have more than one company code. But no two company codes can have the same identity. There can be no two GM01s in the same client. Are you getting my point? Clear? I hope these points are getting clearer and clearer. Yeah. Okay. Now coming back to SAP. So now I think I'll have to re-log into SAP. Just give me a moment. Now, this is your easy access screen, the first and the foremost and a very basic screen which opens out in SAP once you have provided your user credentials. What does your user credentials consist of? It contains the relevant client on which you are given permission to work on, your individual user IDs, and the password. And you should also know that once, let me show you something on this screen. Can you see once the database administrator or the concerned authority gives you the information about your system, okay, having the client, the user ID and the password. For the first time when you enter the system, SAP system, by giving in all the credentials, SAP pops up with a message saying that you will have to change the password. Can you see the new password here? on top. Every time you log into the system for the first time, SAP automatically takes you into a screen where it prompts you to change the password. So you change the password. Clear? So when you're working on the live projects, this becomes a very, very important task and a security issue. So the projects, in one of the projects, we had to change the password every 3 months. It was mandatory, or else the next day after the expiry of 3 months, you would not be in a position to log into the system at all. Okay, so there will be a fixed time or a fixed time frame within which you need to change the password. And as I said, I'll again repeat, all this information, whatever you're seeing on the screen, your client, user ID, and the password, they are confidential. They are not to be shared even with your closest of your friends. Clear? Okay, now, once when you enter into the easy access, and this screen is also called as a session. Clear? Now, the blank box, what you see, place where I'm moving the cursor, is called as the command field or the command box. This is the place where you enter the transaction codes. Now you got exposed to one transaction code FB50. What is FB50? The place where you enter the journal voucher. Correct? I want to enter a simple journal entry. Okay. Now, how do I normally go to that place? I go to accounting. I go to financial accounting. I go to general ledger. I go to document entry. This is your FB50. Clear? Now, how does this help me with? If I happen to remember the transaction codes, and believe me, it is simply not possible for you to remember all the transaction codes. There are lakhs and lakhs and lakhs of transaction codes. Okay, so it is impossible for you to remember all the transaction codes. So as an end user, since my job is to enter only the journal vouchers, why should I navigate through the whole of SAP? Go to accounting, go to financial accounting, then go to general ledger accounting, then go to document entry. So why do I have to do it? I simply enter the transaction code in my command box. You see, I have entered FP50. Enter. You can also make use of this bold tick mark, or you can also press enter on your keyboard. Can you see it is straight away taking me into the transaction? So we defined what is a transaction code, right? A shortcut key for the user to directly enter into any transaction. Now, did you understand how I make use of the transaction codes? Okay. Now, as I said, now I have changed the company code to 1023. It is somebody else company code. I'm the owner of GM01. So switch company code. As I said, every field, or if any field has this icon, can you see this icon just after that 1023? This means it has n number of company codes. And these company codes are all in your client 900. Somebody asked me a question, can there be n number of company codes? Yes. Just because this is a test server, you can see so many company codes. But the answer, if somebody asks you, can a client have more than one company code? Obviously and definitely your answer should be yes. Clear? And in this, I can also search. Can you say find? Can you see that find? You can give your company code GM01 and enter. And you can see the binoculars find. Or you can simply come back because you can see from line 1. Not a problem. So there are so many other company codes. So here what I can do is now can you see this changing to GM01? So in case I am in a wrong company code, I can always change it back to my company code. The first and the foremost activity of the end user or of the consultant is to ensure that he is in the right company code. Clear? Now, what are these things called? They are called as the fields. Your document date, your posting date, reference. Now, one beauty in SAP is I don't know what a company code is. I want to understand what a company code is. So what do? I highlight or I activate that particular field. See, can you see that I have activated that? I'm in the company code field and I press F1. F1 on my system. You're able to see my SAP screen, madam? Am I audible? I don't know why the connection was cut. Can somebody please confirm? Janvi ma'am, you are able to hear to me? Hello. So just confirm if you are able to hear to me. If I do not, let me just take up a question. Just a moment.
Yes, sir. Sir?
Oh, perfect, man. Perfect. Okay.
Yes.
No, because I think I had lost the connectivity.
Okay, okay, okay.
Okay.
Audible
Now,
now, sir.
okay. Now, I want to understand what a company code is. I don't know what is the meaning of a company code. So SAP explains the meaning of any of the field, how I go to that field and simply press F1. What is F1? Your help key. See, the company code is an organizational unit within financial accounting. Click on company code. It will give you an elaborate explanation as to what is a company code. The smallest organizational unit in financial accounting. Okay, so you can read. Okay, so this is your F1 function F1. So each field has a help. You can go and read that particular field. If you do not understand the meaning of it, you can definitely go and read the explanation of that field. Okay. I said this was the document header portion. About the 0 items, what you see here, it is your header portion. Down below the 0 items, it is your line items. What is line item? You are actually entering the transaction. Debit and the credit, you are entering here. Okay. Now, let us try to enter document date. Okay. Now, what is this document date and what is this posting date? Any idea? Just think over it. I'll finish this activity and then come back and let us revisit this question. Now you can see total debit is 0, total credit is 0. And you can see the light glowing in the center. You can see a small triangle, balance not yet determined. So I have ensured that I'm entering the transaction in GM01, right? On this particular day. My journal voucher, you can also give some information. Journal voucher number 56895. Journal voucher number 56895. Some number, journal voucher. Now, after I finish the entry in my header information, I come to the line item information where I enter the transaction now. As you can see the same icon we saw next to that company code? So this also has a drop down. This also has some information. Click. It will show you the number of GL accounts. Okay. Description in the chart of accounts, GL account. So I'll take a list of 500 general ledger accounts and just say enter. It will show me all the general ledger accounts, what is there in my company code GM01. Now, I will just take some example. All right, I will take maybe say gas expenses. Okay. So I will say debit or a credit. Debit. Just say 500 rupees. How do you know this is a gas account? I will tell you. Now I will take up a cash account. If at all there is cash account, I will take cash, or maybe if there are no cash accounts, I will take a bank. Not a problem. Do I have any cash account? Okay, sample bank account, sample bank account. Okay. This is a credit. I enter the same 500 rupees. Now I said SAP doesn't understand the English debit or the credit. What is this topic? Posting keys. Debit or a credit indicator. This is your posting keys. This is your general ledger accounts, which are available in the operational chart of accounts. So what is my entry? Sample expense account, gas account. Okay, debit, and the sample bank account getting a credit. Now can you see the light is still in the center? The total debit and the total credit is still 0. Now I'll press enter on my keyboard, or I can also click on this. I'm just taking a very small example. Not open. So can you see what are the errors that I'm getting? So these are the errors which the end user may also get. So the functional consultant also resolves the errors. Errors reported by the end users. So do you know the role of a consultant now? Now I don't know how to resolve this because I'm an end user. So what do? I, as a consultant, so it's good that I got this error. Okay. Now to explain the errors. First thing is I'll explain the errors. Just give me a moment's time. So errors are reported in SAP. Let me also make that point. Okay, I'll add some. Errors are reported in SAP in the following color combinations. Red color, black color. Miss errors indicated in black or red. They are critical and the system will not proceed ahead. Now in this case, red, so it does not move ahead till a person rectifies this error. Till the knowledgeable person understands what the error and resolves this error in the SAP system, SAP will not move ahead. I am getting stuck in this place. Now, there are messages in yellow also where they are just information. They are not exactly errors, we can stop the activity, but it is just an information to the concerned person who's using that system about how the system is behaving. Now I have got stuck in a critical error. Because of the color, I have understood that it's a critical error. So yellow or black, I mean red or black, critical error. Needs to be rectified or corrected. So this error needs to be definitely rectified and corrected. But whereas if it is an information, system allows the user to proceed because it is not an error. It is just a message or it could be a warning. It is just an information or a warning. Clear? Now, it's wonderful that we got this error because I can explain another concept. Now that I have got this error, I can also view the details. Who rectifies this error? The person who's knowledgeable enough in the SAP system only needs to be involved in rectification of this entry. Second, if he is given the access, but he doesn't know what to do, or rather, if he is not given access to rectify this entry, he is given access to the system, but is not given access to rectify because he is after all an end user. So a person having the relevant system access and the knowledge can only rectify this error. Now, I'll come back to the system. Just hold on. Go to FB50. How do I navigate to reach that place? Accounting, financial accounting, general ledger, document entry, FB50. Did you see the number of steps I visited? And here I came and enter the information. Okay, at this moment, at this point, just see how the screen behaves. I got stuck in this error. Posting period 04. Why is it 04? Can you read the error? Posting period 04 2025 is not open in company code GM01. So where is the error? Now it is up to the consultant. So where does the consultant go and resolve this error? He will go to another screen. How does a person open another screen within the same system? Simultaneously, I want to have two screens. Can you see this new GUI window? You can see this here also, or let me see if you can find here also. New GUI window. So you can see this option in two different places. One is on the left top, or you can also see this in the. So I click here. So what does the system do? It opens another session in the easy access. Can I rectify the errors in the easy access? I said this place is only for entering the data. Okay. Broadly, I made a statement saying that this was the place for the end users to enter their day-to-day transactions. Now, where does the consultant go? So for him to go and rectify this error, he needs to enter into another place, into another screen in the SAP system, for which he enters the transaction code SPRO. He enters the transaction code SPRO to go to his relevant screen. Enter. It takes me into a customizing execute project screen. This is a typical consultant screen for which none of the end users will be given access to. Nobody will be given access to this particular transaction code, SPRO. Now, if you enter the transaction code SPRO in your live SAP project systems, if you are an end user, you will get a message saying that access is denied. You're not authorized to use this transaction code. Clear? Now you see something called as SAP reference IMG. What is IMG? Implementation guide. Now, what is the purpose of coming here? To rectify that error. Now, can you see there is a difference in the screen? How many screens do I have open? Now I have two sessions. Can you see this 1 and 2? One is in the GL account where I have entered and faced the error. The other is the IMG screen or the SPRO screen or the consultant screen, which access is given only to certain people. Now, don't bother about you rectifying the error. I'll simply rectify and leave it back. Just hold on. Don't bother about this. You will not be given access, don't worry. I'm not going to explain this because this is a typical consultant's job. That's why I'm keeping silent. If it were to be anything to be explained to you, I would have definitely done it. But since this is not your area, don't bother about it. I'm not going to explain anything. Now, good year, I got this error. Very nice. You remember there was a concept where we had to move data from one server to another server. while moving the data from the testing server or from the development or from the sandbox server to the quality server, I said there was a concept called as transport requests. This is typically your transport request. So everything whatever changes I make, it is recorded against my name, against a particular number. This is the number through which I keep track of the transports. I'll just hold back at this moment. So it is through this transport request that it records the changes. Clear? Now I have changed the settings. Now can I do it from here itself? Let me just, now I'll press enter. No problem. See, now it is yellow. This error is in yellow. GL account is relevant to tax. It is okay. I'll press enter. Now do you see the glow has changed? Your debit is matching the credit. Now, if I want to see, even before I save this entry within my financial books, as the end user, I want to see how the data looks like. Simulate. Now, can you see it has generated an SA document type on top? Can you see? Period is 4. April, May, June, July, 4. 40 and 50. Posting keys. It does not understand in English debit or the credit. Here, heating oil expenses, debit to sample bank account. So did I have to remember SA? Did I have to remember 40 and 50? Absolutely no. I said, even when I was explaining this concepts, I said, do not bother about it because SAP generates this information on its own. Now I'm okay with this. Company code is GM01. Can you see this? Now, can you see the document number is blank? It's a simple journal voucher. So that is why it has generated SCA document type. And you can see the 40 and the 50. Now I will post this document. What is posting? Save the transaction. Now you see how the system behaves. Can you see that a document 100000141 was posted in company code GM01? That means to say this entry, whatever I have made, it has gone and affected the financial books because a document has got generated. 1000141. I'll copy this document so that we can see this. So the document number is always 10 characters. I'll copy this into my Excel sheet so that I can come back and continue on this. OK. Guys, how do you feel the subject is going on? Interesting? Okay, all our attendance, that's okay. Okay, so can we, madam, I just had a look at the questions. I can come back after lunch. Can we take a lunch break, madam?
Yes, sir. Sure, sir. So now it's 1 p.m. It's time for ending the session of the first morning session. The students, stay tuned. We will be back after the lunch break in the session at 2 p.m. So just log out from this session and be back by 2 p.m. from the next for the next session at 2 p.m. Thank you all. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, madam. Thank you.